All right. Just wait a minute here so I can get on to LinkedIn and actually do this thing. There we go. All right. Looks like we're good. We're live, ready to go. Just going to wait for some people to trickle in here. As usual, going over podcast numbers, doing an AMA at the tail end here. So if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. Sorry that I didn't do this on Tuesday. I'm sure it didn't even occur to any of you. But just was a little busy Tuesday and yesterday. But today, wanted to make sure that I still get this in for the week and show you everything that I've been working on, everything that's working, what's not working, my new ideas, things that I'm going to try out. If you know me already, you know that I will test just about anything and give it a chance. So got a couple new things that I'm testing this week, and I'll just go over results, be totally transparent with all of you. So I'm just going to share my screen. And let's see. There we go. Perfect. All right. I'm going to get away from that for a minute here, move it over to another screen so I can actually go over what I wanted to talk about here. That just followed me over there. Bear with me, folks. We got this. All right. Here we go. Wanted to show you transparently what's going on. If you got any questions, pop them in the chat. Would love to hear from you. I am here for an AMA a little bit later on. So just looking forward to hearing back if you have anything at all. Cool. So last time I showed you, we had a massive week. We had like 1,200 downloads last week. Had a bunch of episodes released, just did really, really well, kept growing fast. This past week was a little bit slow comparatively. So in the past 7 days, only went up about 350 downloads. So it was a pretty slow week. Only released 2 episodes last week. So there's that. Released one on Tuesday, one today, and then got another one coming tomorrow. So a little bit of a slow week. And you know what? I said this last week, but I was anticipating that. I anticipate it's going to go up and down for a long time. And honestly, I just want to keep at this for at least a year before I start making judgments on anything, good or bad, because I know it takes at least that long to develop an audience that actually cares. So I've been blown away by the support and people that seemingly care about the podcast and things that they're learning here. I'm really thankful for that. So I can't complain whatsoever. We have a little bit of a down week compared to last week, but hey, compared to the very first week I did this is a great week. So take the wins, take the losses. I don't even consider this a loss. It's just what happened for the past week. And I'm really excited going forward to see what happens. And I want to talk to you about some other things that I'm working on. Like I mentioned, I'm always in A/B test mode, always trying to think of new things that I can possibly do. So some things that I've done include installing this episode player right here that I talked about last week. I've also changed the CTA here to push to my Patreon page, which is right here. And I'll talk about that in just a second. And other than that, just keep uploading episodes. So that there's nothing new on that front. But one thing that is new that some of you might start noticing when you come back onto the site is instead of doing an email pop-up, which I've had set up for the past month or so on the site, I've paused that, and instead I've just enabled a function to send push notifications. So I'm going to test that out and see what it does. I think it's a little bit less obtrusive in terms of the experience. It's a lot easier to cancel out of. It doesn't take up the whole screen. Plus, you don't have to give up your email address. and you still get notified of new stuff. So I think it makes sense to me, which is why I wanted to test it. We'll see how it goes. Now I will let you know how it goes for sure. Next week and the weeks beyond, I'll let you know if the push notification thing is actually a good thing, if it's not so great. I want to talk about the Patreon account for just a second. Maybe there's some people interested in what's happening there. I have actually been really surprised at everything that's been going on with the Patreon account. It's gone from 0 a week and a half ago to now we have 9 patrons. You see that, $49 a month. So that's cool. Like this is not about the money. It's really just more about allowing people to get skin in the game, to invest in themselves. And I give away a lot of value in, the group consulting here. And I'm just ramping up. I'm going to start adding more and more to this. So really thankful for the people that are early on in the Patreon. If you're not there already and you want to invest $6 in yourself, like go ahead. If not, won't hurt my feelings whatsoever. I totally get it. It's not for everybody. But if you want to have a monthly AMA on a Zoom call with everybody else, private weekly podcast where I do a screen share of actual consulting, more in depth, like stuff that I would tell clients. And then also when you sign up, I give you 30 minutes of one-on-one consulting, just you and me. And it's all month to month. So there's my plug for that. And then the final thing that I'm testing, I had a chat with the folks at Marco Polo this past week, and they have this new app called Channels, which is kind of like Patreon mixed with Marco Polo, and basically just lets you charge a small fee for a channel where you share short videos. So Patreon's like a really well thought out, almost like an entire community, whereas this is getting rapid videos, constantly. Well, not constantly, but every day you could get a video with short tips instead of a full session. So this is what I'm going to be doing on this one. It's actually totally different than what I'm sharing on the Patreon page. On Patreon, I'm doing a lot more consulting and getting really in depth with that. This is going to be called Influence Me. And I'm just going to document basically what I'm going through building this podcast from start to finish. I'm going to show you everything that I'm doing to get guests, to, my setup, who I'm interviewing, what is actually working, what's failing, tips that you can take for yourself. I'm also going to talk about my social media stuff that I'm doing and how that's going, what's working and what's not. So it's going to be a behind the scenes look of everything in really short videos. So if that's more your style, it says $14.99 per month right now, but I have coupons for 60% off. So if you want a coupon, you can hit me up in the comments and I'll send that to you if that's more of what you would like to follow. If not, again, totally cool. I don't expect anybody to actually be interested in this stuff, but if you are, then that's awesome. So that pretty much concludes the transparent number sharing, what I'm working on. I didn't change a whole ton in terms of distribution this week. I think I was probably a little more lax in terms of sharing on social media this past week, honestly. And so that didn't help a ton. Probably need to be a little bit more active in it in the coming week, but feeling pretty blessed about where the podcast is at right now, considering that, with any podcast, with any YouTube channel or whatever you're building, nobody really has a reason to follow you. And if you give some good information and people follow you for some reason, that's awesome. Just one person, because you can't expect that of anybody. So I'm really thankful for that. Looks like, basically nobody has jumped on the live here. So I've just been talking to myself this whole time. If you have any questions, let me know. I will stay live here for a minute or two, but it looks like it's pretty much a wasteland here. So I'll save my own time if there aren't any questions. Cool. All right. Well, it looks like nobody's hopping on. So if you're watching this recorded, then thanks for listening in. That's the update for this week. Next week, I'll try to have it a little bit more structured. See you, everybody.